Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome back. I know it's an exciting time of the year. I know that we're certainly gearing up here at the ranch for Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, Thanksgiving's this week. Yeah, it's that weird Thursday where I'm off before I have to go down to cover 8 state title games. But again, hope you're having a great week. Hope you're going to have a great Thanksgiving. And obviously, if you're watching this, you certainly are concerned and plan on checking out some IHSA football this weekend. Of course, the state final weekend in Champaign, Illinois, University of Illinois at Memorial Stadium. Well, as far as we know for now, the last go around on this contract. So this is the last year we know where we will be at. We do not know yet where we will be in starting in 2023, which I think it's something to remember. The last I had heard was that the IHSA was going to announce their new site host after the December board meeting, which is, I think, the first or second week in December. I'm almost expecting some sort of leak to come out of Champaign this weekend, especially if it's Champaign. If it's Illinois, I guarantee you that's going to get out. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I certainly will be keeping my ear very close to the ground regarding that and any other issues that might pop up. It's always a good place, obviously, where you have a lot of coaches and IHSA personnel and what have you in the same place at the same time. A lot of scuttlebutt and rumor gets thrown around quite a bit that weekend. So I'm hoping we get a little leaning. Again, I know this has nothing to do with 6A. Well, it does, but it doesn't. I've said for over 2 years now, I think the games are going to wind up back at Illinois State. I know that, there's some questions. I know Illinois, there's some questions with the scheduling, if they're able to actually fit the games in. They continue to expand the Big Ten schedule, so I know that's a concern from their standpoint. IHSA meeting with Illinois. Northern Illinois, I think, has been a terrific host, but I think it's incredibly tempting for IHSA to stay at home, shall we say, and playing 5 minutes away from the IHSA headquarters at Illinois State is really appealing, especially when you look at what Illinois State has done football-wise. Obviously, they've renovated Hancock Stadium, if you have not been down there in a while. They're also building an indoor practice facility, which will greatly enhance their chances of hosting. So I just think all the momentum's heading the Illinois State's way. Anyway, so we'll learn about that and much more. But in the meantime, we have a football game to play in Class 6A. Rematch of the 2019 Class 6A state title game, which was won by East St. Louis. This game was going to be interesting going in. I think after last week's results have gotten even a little bit more interesting. Of course, I'm talking about East St. Louis, the Flyers. Some feel the number one team in the state of Illinois. I've never quite felt that way about the Flyers this year, and we'll see how it works out. But still, top 3, top 5 team, no doubt in my mind. A little bit surprising results. And again, I say that with a little contention. I was at East St. Louis Lamont last year and saw how tough and how physical Lamont played East St. Louis. They did again this year. And, maybe it's just that Lamont seems to get up for East St. Louis, or East St. Louis just is not up for Lamont for whatever reason. The Lamont Football Club put in one hell of an effort last Saturday and came up just short. So East St. Louis gets the win on the road. Not an easy thing to do. So the Flyers get a 32-29 win over East St. Louis to get to the state title game. Easily the closest game they've had since state title game last year against Cary Grove. So Prairie Ridge, again, Chris Schrempf doing a tremendous job with this team, and I mean that in all seriousness. When I saw this team at midseason, I saw them lose to Jacobs. I still felt they could make a run in 6A. had a chance to see Tyler Vassy up close. And ironically, that was his, up until last week, I believe, the Jacobs game was his worst overall yardage game. But Tyler Vassy's spectacular. There's no doubt about it. I was as equally impressed with him returning kicks as I was with him running option. So tremendous athlete, great speed. His downfield speed, he's got some serious gears. So again, Vassy runs the Prairie Ridge option attack. He's already the state record holder, single season rushing yards already. So every time he carries the ball, he's adding on to that record. He's been a monster all year long. Now, ironically, this past weekend, St. Ignatius, again, another option team, found a way of kind of slowing down and containing that option game. But what does Prairie Ridge do? They get a field goal from a kid that never kicked a high school field goal until that game. So, again, sometimes the gods smile on you. And so far, they've been smiling on Prairie Ridge. There's no doubt. But again, Wolves, very, very good team, incredibly well coached. Both teams, again, you don't get this far unless you've got the right guys pulling the right switches at the right time. And that's definitely been the case for both East St. Louis and Prairie Ridge. So, I'm already seeing a lot of talk on the message boards about, well, East St. Louis, they struggle against option teams, and they have. There's no doubt about it. And again, Darren Suckett addressed it Monday in the press conference and said, "Look, it's an offense that you're not going to be able to prepare for in a week. You just can't." And I agree with them. What you hope you can do is that defensively you're able to kind of strip back, if you will, and just kind of stick to your base fundamentals, and easier said than done. But East St. Louis is going to have to find a way of slowing down Tyler Vassy. Tyler Vassy, as we've seen all year long, can take over games, and that's, I think, a big concern. See, I could see a couple different scenarios in this game. I can see this becoming a complete shootout where Vassy's marching up and down the field in Prairie Ridge. And again, I think what Prairie Ridge wants is for East St. Louis to be overly concerned in stopping Tyler Vassy, because, again, it's a triple option. It's just not a single option. Now, granted, Vassy's a big part of that offense, but you have some other capable players. Nate Greenham, the fullback in particular, if you do not honor the fullback, he will burn you in that offense. So there are some other weapons, and I think we'll see more forward pass out of the Wolves. Maybe not a ton, but enough to keep East St. Louis back on their heels. Because honestly, if you're not going to do that, then East St. Louis eventually is going to find a way to just try to contain and minimize Tyler Vassy. So we will see. As far as East St. Louis is concerned, I mean, offensively, they can do so many different things. They're very balanced. You start with Pop's Battle, the quarterback. Again, this kid's a multi-year starter already. He's played in many, many big games. Highly productive, passed so far a little over 1,900 yards, 21 touchdowns. Very balanced offense, as I mentioned. Tehran Martin, the running back, just a sophomore. Again, he's got about 1,400 yards rushing this year. Starts with the offensive line, and those are key performers for East St. Louis on Saturday, no doubt. Miles McVeigh, Paris Patterson, Brandon Henderson, Timothy Pitts, Teron Scarborough. I mean, those are 5 NFL-sized dudes. Very, very strong. And we saw last Saturday against Lamont, when they decide that they're going to run the ball and go power, they can do it as well as anyone. And I know Prairie Ridge is going to have a speed advantage up front, but we'll see how that goes. Defensively, East St. Louis, I think the defense kind of get overlooked a little bit here. That back 7, and especially that secondary, Saul Reyes and Leontre Bradford and Antoine Hayden at linebacker. There's some real talented guys, and a defense that really can just run to the football and have incredible talent. Now, again, is it incredible enough to stop a triple option? We will see. As far as difference makers, key positional matchups, to me, it's the St. Louis defense against the Prairie Ridge option offense. There's no doubt. That's going to be the headliner. That's the main focus that the TV guys are going to talk about the moment they start the broadcast, and they should. It's something we all need to see how well East St. Louis can handle. I think we're going to know within the first 2 or 3 series how this game is going to go. Is it going to be a up and down affair? Is it going to be, if East St. Louis is able to lock down, get a couple quick 3 and outs and give the ball to their offense, that'll be the difference. And again, I think people are going to want to compare this East St. Louis team and this Prairie Ridge team to a year ago with Cary Grove, and it's totally unfair to Prairie Ridge. This is not Cary Grove from a year ago. I think especially on the defensive side of the ball, that's a big concern for me with Prairie Ridge. Defensively, they've been good enough to get wins and been good enough to get the job done. This is not a great Prairie Ridge defense. This is a defense that is going to get tested. I don't think there's any doubt on Saturday. Now, they are incredibly well coached, so I would not be surprised if the Wolves find a few things that they can maybe attack and go after with East St. Louis, but we'll see how it goes. To me, it's all about tempo and time of possession. The longer Prairie Ridge has this football, the better the chances they have against East St. Louis. It's as simple as that. But part of that strategy also keeps the ball out of the hands of the East St. Louis offense. So, again, not a lot of changes, at least storyline. The teams are different, but pretty much the same strategy going in last year. Cary Grove had against East St. Louis is going to be the same with Prairie Ridge as well. Difference makers. I mean, I've already mentioned Tyler Vassey's name about a dozen times, so that's not too hard to figure out. I mentioned his ability to throw the ball, his ability to be an impact player, really in all 3 phases. He did play defense. Tyler did play defense during the regular season. Obviously, Prairie Ridge has backed off that in the postseason, trying to save him from wear and tear, and rightfully so. And again, Chris Schrepp knows what he's doing as a coach. Trust me, outstanding coach. But if needed, I guarantee you'll see Tyler Vassey. Is it Vassey or Vassey? I'll go Tyler Vassey. I'll go with Vassey until I hear differently. Tyler Vassey, I would not be surprised to see him not playing some defensive back or maybe safety or outside linebacker on Saturday as well, if needed by Prairie Ridge. Difference maker for East St. Louis, I'm going to stick with the offensive line. As I mentioned, Miles McVeigh, Paris Patterson, Brandon Henderson. Again, all 3 of those guys committed to Power 5 schools, Timothy Pitts and Teron Scarborough. This team is going to get out. They're going to run the ball. These guys are going to be asked to basically just ground and pound and be able to just move the chains and be able to eat up clock and control time of possession and just physically pound a Prairie Ridge defense that is going to be much smaller up front. Quicker? Oh, yeah. But, boy, that is a huge size disadvantage they're going to have to deal with all day on Saturday. So we'll see. My pick, I'm going with East St. Louis. I can't even fathom a score right now, honestly, because I could see a 46-42 final, as crazy as that sounds. I could see a 35-7, 35-14 final. I could see that as well. I think it's a very interesting game, very interesting storylines. I think East St. Louis lives up to the hype, and they get the state title. And again, Prairie Ridge, Fox Valley fans, you can all laugh at me Saturday afterwards, but nah, they're good people, good fans. But yeah, should be a great game here, no doubt, in Class 6A. A lot of intrigue, a lot of storyline. And have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great holiday weekend. Hope to see everybody down in Champaign. And let's go. State final time.